Hi, this is Susan Proper with Women Inspired to Wellness. Thanks for joining me today. I have a guest who is the CEO and president of Pink Fortitude. Her name is Holly. Oh gosh, I forgot how to pronounce your last name, Holly.
It's okay, Bertone.
Bertone. And Holly is comes from a corporate background. She is a breast cancer survivor. She also has some autoimmune disorders that she will talk to us about today. And Holly has a very interesting background. She's an Army wife. She has lots of certifications, and she's really a wonderful lady that I'm sure you will enjoy hearing from and hearing her story. So I am going to let Holly speak and talk to you about Pink Fortitude and tell us what that is all about.
Well, thank you
Welcome.
so much. And thank you for having me on the show. And you forgot the most important part of the intro.
Oh,
I'm a pug mama.
a pug mama. Yeah, she's got a beautiful black pug named Hannibal. And Hannibal looks like a cousin to my Bella. Yeah.
So thank you so much for having me. And I really look forward to connecting with everyone.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit. Well, I'm sure you have such an interesting story. I know you and I spoke earlier, and you do have a very interesting story. But tell us a little bit first and foremost about Pink Fortitude.
Oh, sure. So Pink is the nod to breast cancer and to women.
Mm-hmm.
And Fortitude was my mother's life mantra. She had Addison's disease. She was actually diagnosed when she was pregnant with me. And so just all the trials and tribulations, watching her throughout her life. And that was just her life mantra. It builds fortitude. She always said it builds fortitude. The tough times build fortitude. So Pink Fortitude just seemed to work. And basically, I blog about it's a healthy lifestyle blog about not just breast cancer, not just autoimmune, not just chronic illness, but just health and wellness in general.
Yeah.
And really simple, easy ways to be healthy in real life. A lot of sustainable living, a lot of fun recipes, a lot of gardening. And I also have fortitude.academy,
Mm-hmm.
which is the training side of Pink Fortitude with different training courses and challenges and even some fun printables. And
so you have lots going on, but you also have a history yourself of being a breast cancer survivor.
Yes. So basically, before all of my health challenges happened,
Mm-hmm.
I was, I guess what they say called the quintessential overachiever. I was the chief of staff at one of our nation's 3-letter government agencies,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
It's a very high-powered, high-stress position. I was racing Xterra races, which are off-road triathlons, and
Ooh.
I was the only civilian on the Marine Corps' mountain bike team.
Wow.
So just very, what I thought was healthy, a lot of racing, a lot of exercise, a lot of stress at work, just climbing the corporate ladder, doing everything. And then on my 39th birthday, I got the phone call and I got the diagnosis of breast cancer.
Yeah.
They said it was the good kind. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Is there a good kind?
Really? And then 2 days later, my boyfriend proposed. So it was, you have breast cancer and will you marry me?
Wow. Wow.
Life's been crazy. That entire year, I went through surgery, chemo, and radiation.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time our wedding day came around, we just went to the justice of the peace. It was, version 2 for both of us. So I just went to the justice of the peace, and it was just our immediate family. And his son was, I think, 6 or 7 at the time. And but I was still sick and bald when we got married.
Wow.
And and then I never got healthy. Like after breast cancer, my health just kept getting worse. And the doctors kept saying, well, after everything you've been through and, your body's just gone through a lot and, it's going to take a while to bounce back. And I'm looking at support group, and I'm like, women twice my age are running 5Ks, right? They're running the pink ribbons 5Ks. And I'm like, I can't get out of bed. You know, 9 months ago, a year ago, I was racing Xterras. Like I was on my mountain bike. This is not normal. So I kept pushing for answers. And, and that's always a message that I like to give is, especially to women is, so often the things that we're going through, our doctors like to dismiss us.
Yes.
Absolutely. And say, oh, it's hormones, or oh, it's menopause, or oh, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to stand and you need to fight, and not in a bad way, in a good way. You just need to stand your ground and say, okay, no, this is what's going on. And I want answers. Let's do some more tests. Can I talk to another doctor? Can I talk to another specialist? And keep pushing for answers. But it took me an entire year. And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is the hypothyroid component of the autoimmune condition.
Okay.
So basically a very slow and sluggish thyroid. And then subsequently, I think just with everything, my health over the years just tanked and ended up with some debilitating chronic fatigue as well. So it has been a journey.
Wow.
That
sounds like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not the kind of journey you want to go on. My God, here you went from being this tremendous athlete to total opposite spectrum. Now, how about your mental health? How is your mental health doing throughout all this?
There was definitely moments and seasons that were tough, but, my mom's words, it builds fortitude really stuck with me through the tough times. And, there are days that I could barely get out of bed, and like, you know what? I have, work, I have a family, I have a life, and there were a lot of days that weren't pretty. I barely made it through, but I still did. And, it was definitely tough, but, my faith, very strong faith, helped me get through. I kind of realized early on that all of this was a gift, and I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
I do now.
Yeah.
Right. I've been able to take this message and, share it with thousands and thousands of women.
Sure.
But, at the time I didn't know what that meant. I had a peace, and I knew that, okay, I'm going through this for some greater purpose.
Yeah.
And, so that really helped as well.
So many women that I've talked to have always, well, not always, but so many women that I've talked to have said the same thing. They go through an experience, they don't understand why they're going through it. And it may come to them years later, or maybe months later, but at some point in their life, it comes to them later that whatever it was that they went through ended up being a gift in some way, whether or not it was to help somebody else, or whether it was because it prevented them from making a wrong decision, or whatever it was, it led them down the right path in their life when they thought maybe a different path would have been the better path. So, I've always been a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, even if it seems like it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Everything happens for a reason, and you may not understand that reason for years, but everything does happen for a reason, and truly everything does in some way end up being a gift or a blessing, whatever word you want to use, because you can figure it out if you just get quiet and still and pay attention to what you were able to do or learn from the experience. It's interesting that you say that, because so many women do say that. Yeah, it's very interesting. And another point that you brought out that I hear from other women also is how doctors so easily dismiss what women go through. And even women doctors, not just men doctors, male doctors, even women doctors just sometimes dismiss what you're trying to say, because they're overburdened. They're allocated so much time per patient. The insurance industry has so regulated their profession as well, right? And they're overburdened, they're stressed out, they're burnt out sometimes too, and they cannot always take the time to listen and understand exactly what you're trying to say, and
Right.
it affects everybody. And what happens is that, like you just explained, and like I've heard so many other people say, they're not listening. They don't hear me, and I need to find somebody else who will, or I need to do the research on my own.
Right.
You need to become your own advocate, right? Yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing how that happens, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and that's one of the things that I teach too, is really how to be your own advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And and how to speak up, and the questions to ask, and
Yeah. So, so now you, well, yeah, let me just ask you this. Now you coach women, you have the blog, and your blog is really interesting. It's full of great information. And I love that
thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
that you're a gardener, because I'm a gardener too. Um, so now you coach women who, um, maybe are struggling with some of the same illness, or same, maybe even other illnesses. So talk a little bit about your coaching.
Oh, I don't do one-on-one coaching.
Oh, you don't do one-on-one
No.
coaching.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Oh, that's
misunderstood
okay.
that.
That's okay.
I misunderstood that. I thought you do. Oh, you do trainings. What are your
I
trainings?
do online. I
What
do
it is?
online training. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
That's
Your
what I do.
trainings. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's
I
okay.
misunderstood that. So talk about your trainings.
Oh, sure. So I have a few actually. One is called, which is near and dear to my heart, is the Mystery Symptom Masterclass.
Okay.
And almost 30 speakers about just different types of chronic illness, really for women who are struggling to find answers, that they know something's wrong with them, and they're really struggling to find answers. It just has so much information. I also have actually coming up the Diagnosed Summit, and that is basically for women with autoimmune disease who are recently diagnosed, and looking for answers, and really not just talking to doctors about root cause healing, but also talking about mindset and talking about empowerment. How, like, exactly, how do I get answers? What do I need to do with these doctor's appointment? What are the different kinds of doctors? What do they mean? So really just a 101 style when everything seems confusing and overwhelming. Okay, here's step 1, step 2, step 3. And I also have different training courses for autoimmune disease in the workplace. Again, very near and dear to my heart, both for employees and then employers. And that gets into some of the legal and HR stuff about how to manage an autoimmune disease in the workplace and what your legal rights are. And I also have a gratitude challenge, which I love. It's a 30-day video-led gratitude challenge. And yeah, gratitude's my jam. So yeah, there's just a sample.
Okay. Now, we talked a little bit before about gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to hear a little bit more about that. But before we talk about gratitude, I want to talk about your training that's coming up in March. Is it March?
April. Mm-hmm.
April. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
April. Sorry,
That's okay.
I can't even read my own handwriting.
That's okay.
It's terrible. So this particular training that you have coming up, this is for autoimmune disease.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so can you just, I know you just explained it briefly along with some of your other trainings, but can you talk about it a little bit more so that the audience has a more clear idea about if they're interested in what to expect?
Oh, sure. Yes, thank you. So we've got 20 speakers lined up, and basically talking about the 3 tenets are autoimmune disease 101. So talking to different doctors about what exactly is an autoimmune disease, what's going on in your body, what are some of the different kinds, what does it mean? The second tenet is you are empowered, and talking about really how to make the most of your doctor's appointments, what questions to ask, what are the different kinds of doctors to go to, what's the difference between, maybe a functional doctor, a naturopathic doctor, a primary doctor, all the different ones, really how to navigate that journey. We even have a medical specialist, a medical billing specialist
Mm-hmm.
to talk about insurance and billing. And then the third tenet is your path to healing, and really talking about looking at some root cause healing in terms of, diet and lifestyle and mindset, and, really that path going forward, and, how to take those first steps, either, mostly for women who are recently diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and,
Okay.
might be overwhelmed, but then also women who have had an autoimmune disease, because I know, it's not like it's one of those, it's autoimmune disease, it's not an on-off switch, right? It's just kind of all over the place. Even from, different diseases have different symptoms from person to person, from day to day, different flare-ups. So even for those who have had an autoimmune disease for a while and are struggling or looking for answers, it's a really good resource.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually going to be my question. Is it just for people who have recently been diagnosed, or is it for?
I think anyone with an autoimmune disease, just because,
Okay.
like I said,
Okay. Yeah. And is this
it's the gift that keeps on giving every single
yeah,
day.
yeah. So is this live stream, or is this what is this how
Oh
is
yeah, so all of the interviews are pre-recorded,
okay.
and it's going to be, there's a week in April that everything is going to be free to view.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So I will make sure that the information for that gets put in the podcast notes so that
Oh,
people
thank
will.
you. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
But basically, will that be on your Pink Fortitude blog?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
And the
Okay.
easy to remember website is diagnosed.me.
Okay. Oh, well,
Yep.
that is easy to
Yep.
remember. Perfect.
And it's a weird dot whatever, usually
Yeah,
it's a dot
yeah,
com or something, but
yeah,
I saw the URL was available, and I was like, oh, what a fun, yeah,
yeah. That's
diagnosed.me.
great.
Yeah.
That is great.
So,
Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit about gratitude.
yay,
Yeah. Okay. Gratitude's your jam.
gratitude's my
So,
jam.
so you and I spoke recently about gratitude journaling.
Mhm.
And I mentioned to you that I was looking for a good gratitude journal. And so we talked about that for a little bit. So, what's your gratitude challenge all about? That sounds interesting.
Oh, yeah. So basically, it's so I have a free version and a paid version.
Hmm.
So you can do the free version, or if you want to go through the video-led version. And so each week is something different. The first week is basically a foundation of gratitude and just kind of getting into the gratitude mindset, the attitude of gratitude.
Okay.
Week number 2 is gratitude to self. Week number 3 is gratitude to others. And then week number 4 is gratitude to the world around you.
Okay.
And and
That's
then
kind
every
of
day it's
like.
like a,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say every day is a different challenge, and it literally takes minutes, right? It's not a big lift. Everything you do is all of the activities are free.
Mhm.
And just it's a way to think about things, to write about it, to journal about it. And one of my favorites, just to give you an example, um, one of my favorite, talk about mindset shifts, gratitude to self. And I think as women, so often we talk to ourselves like in so negative, right? Like, oh, I hate my nose, or I hate my thighs, or I hate my hair, or, I've put on weight, or, whatever it is,
Right.
right?
Right.
We have these inner voices that just,
Yes.
all the time.
Mine has a name. It's the itty bitty shitty committee. But
Ah! I love it. Oh my goodness.
yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I So basically, in this one particular gratitude challenge, I was like, okay, you're today, and you're going to make a list. You're going to talk to yourself like you would, and you can pick one: your grandmother, your pastor, a baby, right? Like, pick something along those lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would never, ever, ever in a million years speak to a member of the clergy, a baby, or a grandparent the way that you would yourself, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that is the challenge, to say, okay, today we are going to speak with that love, that care, that concern, that, this person is like lifted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those three people, right? Those three groups of people, they're lifted, right?
Right.
And that's how they're elevated, I should say. That's how we're gonna speak to ourselves today. So that's just one of the daily challenges.
That's a very good challenge. I probably would fail that challenge.
There's no pass or fail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. When you talked about the different tenets, it reminds me a little bit of the metta meditation. Have you ever heard? It's a loving kindness meditation. It's been around, well, since Buddha, basically, but you show loving kindness to yourself and your neighbors and your family, your neighbors, the world. You go out and it's that similar concept, I
Okay,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Yeah.
It's like the ripple effect.
Yeah, it is actually. And it does make a difference, like butterfly wings, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, and you also have uh journals. You have
Yes,
journals. Yeah,
I
we talked about
do.
that too. I know. I haven't, I have to admit, I haven't gone back to your site and looked at your journals, but
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, the
I am in
gratitude
search
journals.
for a good gratitude journal. I really
Yeah.
am. Just,
And mine are blank. I mean, they're lined. They're either lined or have dots. So
yeah,
if you like the bullet journal style or the line style,
yeah,
so it doesn't have prompts or anything like that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can use it for. It just says gratitude builds fortitude, which is such a beautiful message.
It is a beautiful message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice mantra, right? Nice meditation mantra.
Yeah.
Actually, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. Is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners today? Because I know we talked about I want to call it a summit because I'm doing a summit, but it's a training, really. It's a training. And I know that's very important for the listeners to know about coming up.
Yeah.
There's so much on your blog. Is there anything you want to talk about on your blog?
There is a lot. There is a lot. I mean, I don't know. I just, like I said, I love gratitude. I love being in a space to work with, women with chronic illness
Mm,
and like I said, it really all boils down to, and in fact, I was talking to one of the doctors that had been working with almost from day one and sharing my gratitude, to him with part of my healing journey. And I said, it's not one thing, right? Like to get from point A to point B, it's not one thing. It's not, oh, I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to be healthy, or oh, I'm going to start running, I'm going to be healthy, or oh, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to be healthy, or oh, I'm going to do yoga and I'm going to be healthy, right? It's the whole package.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's everything. It's your diet, it's your lifestyle, it's stress, it's sleep, it's meditation, it's mindset, it's exercise, it's spiritual, it's the whole package.
Yes.
And it's not to be overwhelming, but just to be able to say, okay, I'm a whole person and every part of me needs to be nourished.
Mm, that's very true. And, you know, just starting with one small thing
Yeah.
is the beginning of big changes, really, you know. But you have to start. You have to take that first step.
Yeah.
And I remember something too that we talked about. I forget if it's on. It must be on your Pink Fortitude site. You also have a detox
Yes.
quiz,
Yes. It is so
right?
much fun. It's like 2 minutes long, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, because I think we talked about that also briefly about how we have to become aware of not only, diet, of course, but and I know people think, oh, fat and calories and all that, but it's not, it's more than that. It's what's in the food that you're eating as far as toxins. People think the word, when you, there's, everything is chemicals. Okay. We are chemicals. Water is chemicals. The air is chemicals. The earth is chemicals. So when you say, oh, I don't eat chemicals, or I don't believe in chemicals, well, then you don't believe in yourself, because we are chemicals. Then water it's H2O. That's a chemical. But what you should be aware of are toxins.
Mhm.
You know, the toxins in the food you're eating, the toxins in the products that maybe you put in your soap, your dish detergents, your laundry, or whatever. And when you can detoxify things in your household, things that you eat, um, perfumes, whatever, cosmetics,
Mhm.
then that's a major step to
Right.
a healthy lifestyle, you know. And I think many people get confused with chemicals and toxins. And I think it's interesting that you have, you know, this toxin quiz or detoxing quiz, because a lot of people just presume that that means chemicals, and it's not
Right.
chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called What is Your Detox Personality?
Mm.
And it's about 2 minutes long. You just answer a few questions. But what's fun is that depending on your answers, it actually breaks it down into 4 different personalities. So when you answer, you're then taking to another page that kind of says, okay, you are, and it talks about your detox personality. And then it kind of goes through the different things, like based on your personality, these are some of the things to maybe start with. Or,
Okay.
so maybe like if you like DIYs, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the detox DIYer, you may want to start making your own, laundry soap,
Yeah.
or, all-purpose cleaner, or things
Uh-huh.
like that. Like, oh, hey, 50 ways to use vinegar, right?
Right.
So that sort of thing. Or, if you come out as the gratitude glitterati, then, hey, let's work on mindset. Let's talk about gratitude. Let's detox, all these negative emotions. Maybe do a social media detox for a week. So things like that. So it's really
Ah,
tailored to, to your person, try to be anyway, to your personality. And just, it's a lot of fun.
yeah, that's great. I have to do that quiz. Yeah. I wonder if it comes out different. I'm going to try it, depending upon your particular mood that day.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
depends on the answers are all in an
Yeah.
algorithm to a 4 different personalities.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. I'm going
yeah.
to try it. Anyway, I'm going to do it because I actually have made my own laundry detergent. And I do sometimes make, what's the other stuff? The softener, the fabric
Oh
softener.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I do make that sometimes. I have to admit, it's you know, it's it's not complex, but it's just not as convenient as going to the market and buying the stuff. But
Yeah.
I know what's in it, right?
Yep. Exactly.
It doesn't just say fragrance on it or something. I
Right.
know what's
Right.
in it. So, but anyway, yeah. I guess we all have our thing. Yeah. Well, anyway, is there anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah. No. Thank you so much for having me on, and it was great to connect, and I look forward to connecting with all your listeners too.
Yes, Holly. I'm so glad that you came on today too. I will make sure that I put all of your information in the podcast notes, and this will go out uh, in plenty of time for everybody to get information for your. I keep on wanting to say summit, but
It
it's
is
your
a summit. Yeah.
your
Yeah.
training, your
Yeah.
summit. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for being
Yeah.
here with me today.